You know that feeling when you look at your phone, you open up some app, and suddenly like 45 minutes have just vanished into the ether.
Oh, yeah. The classic time warp.
It's right. You've just been aimlessly doom scrolling, swiping through this endless feed,
Yeah.
and then you snap out of it feeling like you just woke up from a trance.
Totally.
Like you didn't accomplish anything, you didn't even really enjoy the content, but the time is just gone.
Well, we often treat that state of paralysis as this, modern technological problem.
Oh, right.
We assume the algorithms are just entirely to blame.
I mean, they are pretty well designed.
They are, yeah. The screen provides zero temporal friction, right? So you just slide through an hour without feeling the bumps of passing minutes.
Yeah.
We assume if we just had different tools, we wouldn't waste our lives.
Which is exactly what makes the core material for today's deep dive so incredibly compelling.
It really is.
We are unpacking a story from the Wisdom of Hope YouTube channel, and it's titled The Value of Time. And what I love is that it completely strips away all that modern context.
Right, no smartphones in this one.
Exactly. It exposes the absolute root psychology of this problem. So the narrative centers on this father in a small village who's just trying to get through to his son.
A very relatable parenting struggle.
Seriously, the son is chronically lazy. He spends his days just wandering around doing absolutely nothing. I mean, it is the analog equivalent of doom scrolling.
It really is. And the father is facing a classic behavioral dilemma here. When someone is trapped in that kind of cycle of chronic passivity, lecturing them is just useless.
Oh, completely. It goes in one ear and out the other.
Worse than that, actually.
Yeah.
Words trigger defensive walls. If you simply tell someone, hey, you are wasting your life, they will rationalize their behavior.
So true.
To bypass those psychological defenses, you have to engineer an experience that forces the person to confront their own flawed logic.
Okay, let's unpack this right here. Why do we so often need that external jolt to recognize our own laziness? Like, why can't we just see it?
Because it's comfortable.
Mm.
The father designs this brilliant two-part physical lesson to break that comfort. This isn't just some simple fable.
Right.
It's a profound philosophical exercise about how humans perceive value. He uses this incredibly unconventional teaching method.
Yeah, he takes a watch. Just a regular watch that he kept tucked away inside a cupboard.
A literal timepiece.
Exactly. And he uses it as the prop for this elaborate exercise, but he disguises it as an errand. He tells the boy to take the watch down to the village market and ask everyone he meets what they think it's worth.
Just a simple price check.
Yeah, the boy's only job is to get a price check from the crowd. No selling, just asking.
We really need to look at the psychological baseline the father is establishing here. Because it's genius.
Right.
He is sending a boy who does nothing of value to evaluate an object of assumed value. He wants to shift his son's perspective from the tangible to the intangible.
So the boy goes down to the market and he starts showing the watch around. And the results are completely fragmented.
All over the place.
Completely. One vendor looks at it and offers 500 rupees. Another inspects the exact same object and says, nah, it is worth 1,000.
Huge jump.
Right. Then somebody else offers 800. And some people gave the same price, sure, but absolutely no one could agree completely on a single definitive value for this watch.
Which is exactly what the father anticipated.
The boy goes back home and he reports all these conflicting numbers to his father. But here's where it gets really interesting to me. I want to push back on this concept of intrinsic value.
Okay, go for it.
Like, if a physical watch is a standardized mechanical object, it has brass gears, a glass face, a leather strap, isn't it strange that a single local market cannot agree on its worth?
What's fascinating here is that the father is establishing a vital baseline. He is demonstrating what economists call the subjective theory of value.
Right, right.
It was pioneered by thinkers like Carl Menger. Prior to this theory, people believed an object's value was determined by the labor and materials required to produce it.
So because it has gears and took hours to build, it should have a fixed price.
Exactly. But the market's reaction proves that intrinsic worth is kind of a ghost. The object is a standardized mechanical tool, yet the price is nothing more than a temporary hallucination.
A hallucination. I love that.
It is entirely dependent on human desire at that specific moment. The physical components of the watch are totally irrelevant to its market price.
Oh, wow.
Think about it. If the person inspecting the watch already has 2 watches, their offer is going to be super low.
Because they don't need it.
Right. But if they desperately need to track their schedule for a new job, their offer might be double.
So the father is proving experientially that material things only possess the value we arbitrarily project onto them.
Yes. And for you listening right now, think about how much mental and emotional bandwidth you dedicate to the acquisition of things.
Oh man, so much energy. We stress over the brand of our clothes, the model of our car, the square footage of a house.
We really do. We treat price tags like they are fundamental laws of physics,
Mm.
like gravity.
It's so true. We anchor our entire self-worth to these material objects, believing they provide the solid foundation.
But the father is dismantling that exact illusion for his son. By revealing that the realm of material wealth is entirely subjective, debatable, and fluctuating, he clears the slate.
You have to deconstruct the false idol of material wealth before you can reveal what is actually valuable.
Beautifully put. Which brings us to the second task.
Yes, day 2. The father tells the boy to take the exact same watch from the cupboard and return to the exact same market.
Same setup, completely different rules.
Exactly. The instruction fundamentally changes. The father says, do not ask for the price of the watch. Ask people the price of the time inside the watch.
It's a deeply disruptive instruction. He shifts the entire focus from the container to the contents.
And the boy is understandably confused, but he obeys. He walks up to the exact same crowds in the market and asks, how much is the time inside this watch worth?
And how do they react?
The reaction is immediate, and it is brutal. People look at him like he has completely lost his mind. Some people literally laugh in his face.
Ouch.
Yeah. Others become visibly irritated. They tell him to go away, calling it a foolish question. The poor boy is just left standing there, completely embarrassed and ridiculed by his own community.
Which raises an important question about human behavior.
Yeah. Why does the crowd react with such hostility and mockery to a philosophical question? Like, is it just because it breaks the so-called rules of a marketplace?
That's a huge part of it. A marketplace functions on the illusion that everything can be commodified and controlled.
You hand over a chicken, you receive a coin.
Exactly. You hand over a watch, you receive 800 rupees. It is a system built entirely on safety, predictability, and ownership.
And time shatters that framework.
Completely. You cannot commodify time. You can't hoard it or negotiate for a better rate. People laugh because they are deeply uncomfortable with the unquantifiable.
It's like walking into a library and asking to buy the concept of language. You aren't just breaking a social rule, you are short-circuiting its fundamental logic.
That's a great analogy. The hostility the boy faces is just a psychological defense mechanism.
Right.
When he asks to price the time inside the watch, he introduces this unquantifiable reality into a hyper-quantified space. It triggers major cognitive dissonance.
Because if they actually engage with his question, they have to face their own reality.
Yes. They are forced to confront their own lack of control. They have to acknowledge that they are trading their finite, unpurchasable life energy for arbitrary pieces of metal and paper.
Wow. So they call it a foolish question because acknowledging it as a profound question invites existential dread.
Precisely. They would rather laugh at a child than face their own mortality. And here is the brilliant irony of the father's lesson.
He knew this would happen.
He engineered this rejection. He deliberately sent his son into the ultimate hub of buying and selling, a literal marketplace, to ask about the one thing on earth that cannot be bought or sold.
To ensure the boy would experience that harsh contrast between material commerce and existential reality.
Exactly.
Man, that is tough love. So, driven away by the mocking crowds, the boy's bruised ego pushes him toward the quieter outskirts of the market.
He's retreating.
Yeah, he stops at the small shop where an old shopkeeper is sitting hunched over, busy repairing watches.
The perfect person to talk to.
Right. The boy approaches this old man, who is literally up to his elbows in tiny springs and gears, and he asks the foolish question one more time. What is the price of the time inside this watch?
This old man represents a crucial turning point. He is the one person in the entire village who understands the mechanics of the instrument the boy is holding.
And instead of mocking the boy, the old man just pauses his work. He looks at him with this really kind smile.
He gets it.
He totally gets it. He understands exactly what is being asked, and he delivers the core wisdom of the narrative. He tells the boy softly, son, you cannot put a price on time.
Such a powerful moment.
He says, you could give millions of rupees, but you cannot buy back even 1 second of your life.
And that is why you must use your time wisely. Notice the profound contradiction in this interaction.
Yeah, he's like a mechanic who doesn't just fix the engine, but understands the philosophy of the journey.
Exactly. The man whose literal job, his entire livelihood, revolves around manipulating timepieces, winding springs, resetting hands, fixing gauges.
Right.
He is the very person who admits he has absolute zero power over time itself.
Oh, wow. The man who fixes broken timepieces has no power over time. That is a beautiful contradiction.
He can repair the machine that measures the flow of the river, but he cannot alter the current.
The old man then goes on to break down the duality of time for the boy. He explains that time has one bad quality and one good quality.
A very grounded way to explain it.
Yeah, he says the bad thing about time is that it passes. It is constantly slipping away, regardless of your actions or your status.
But the good thing,
The good thing, the redeeming feature, is that you can choose how to spend it.
the watchmaker here is addressing a behavioral concept known as temporal discounting.
Oh, what is that?
Well, human brains are wired to prioritize immediate, tangible comfort over abstract future benefits.
Oh, okay.
The boy wanders the village aimlessly all day because the future feels distant and unreal to him. But the immediate ease of doing nothing feels highly rewarding.
So by highlighting that duality, the watchmaker pulls the abstract future right into the present moment.
Yes. For anyone listening, this completely reframes time from a passive experience, something that just happens to you while you exist, into an active choice.
Something you actively control. The meter is running, the currency is burning, but you are the one holding the steering wheel.
Well said. And the watchmaker takes this abstract philosophical concept and grounds it in a highly practical, everyday reality.
Right, he introduces the 24-hour rule.
Yes. He tells the boy that time is the ultimate equalizer. The richest king and the poorest beggar both receive exactly 24 hours in a day.
Not a fraction of a second more.
Or a fraction less. The only difference, the only factor that separates the trajectory of their lives is how they utilize that specific daily allowance.
Okay, I have to jump in here. Because, what does this all mean for us today? I want to push back on this specific idea, especially with modern time management culture.
Okay, let's hear it.
Is time actually the great equalizer? Because we obsess over productivity apps and calendar hacks, but we act like time is infinite.
We do.
And when you look at extreme wealth, I mean, a billionaire does not wait in line at the DMV, right?
That's true. They don't.
A billionaire hires a private chef, they fly on a private jet, they pay an entire staff to handle their daily friction. They are quite literally using their wealth to buy time.
It definitely looks that way on the surface.
Right. So how does this 24-hour rule hold up against the reality of extreme wealth? Because honestly, it feels like a comforting fiction we just tell ourselves.
That is such a good point, but if we connect this to the bigger picture, we have to differentiate between two things: freed up time and existential time.
Okay, break that down.
Wealth absolutely allows you to purchase freed up time. You can outsource your laundry, your cooking, your commute. You can buy your way out of mundane chores.
Right.
But you cannot buy your way into a deeper human experience. A billionaire cannot outsource their own emotional growth.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And not pay someone else to experience the joy of a real conversation with their child, or the fulfillment of mastering a difficult skill, or, frankly, the biological degradation of their own cells.
So wealth alters the scenery of the time, not the actual substance of the time.
Exactly.
Wait, let me rephrase that just to make sure I'm getting it. The billionaire and the beggar are both experiencing consciousness at the exact same rate of 1 second per second.
Yes. 1 second per second.
The billionaire might be sitting on a plush leather seat at 40,000 feet, and the beggar might be sitting on a street corner, but the internal clock of their finite existence is ticking at the exact same unalterable rhythm.
That's it exactly.
Yeah.
You can purchase efficiency, but you cannot purchase longevity of consciousness or retrospective meaning.
Meaning you can't buy a life well lived.
Right. If a wealthy person uses their outsourced, freed-up time to just doom scroll in a luxury penthouse, they are burning their existential currency just as recklessly as the boy wandering the dirt roads.
That is wild to think about.
The great equalizer is not about the tasks you avoid. It is about the irreversible consumption of your presence. Time is free for everyone, but it is priceless. You cannot keep it, but you can spend it.
And once it is gone, you can never get it back. The story describes this sudden physical transformation in the boy as he listens to this old man.
An aha moment.
A total aha moment. His eyes fill with understanding. It's an instant cognitive shift. He doesn't wander away slowly. He physically runs home.
He's on a mission now.
Yeah. He tells his father everything that happened. The father smiles with pride, and from that day forward, the boy completely changes.
He stops wandering.
He starts working hard, and he understands the real value of every passing moment. He treats it with reverence.
And look at the mechanism of that transformation. Think about how we treat ourselves in the modern world. Our entire productivity industry is largely built on guilt.
Oh, 100%.
When we catch ourselves wasting time, we deploy internal punishment. We yell at ourselves. We download restrictive apps to lock our phones.
We create these rigid, miserable schedules born entirely out of anxiety.
We act exactly like the frustrated father wanting to scream at the lazy child.
We try to bully ourselves into being productive. We treat our lack of focus as this massive moral failure that just requires strict discipline to fix.
But the boy was not motivated to change through yelling or punishment or some strict daily schedule of chores.
No, not at all.
He was cured by a sudden, profound understanding of his own immense wealth.
Wealth in the form of an unpurchasable currency. Ours.
Yes, when you realize that you are in possession of an asset so valuable that a billionaire could not buy a single drop of it, your entire relationship with your own existence just shifts.
The boy realized he wasn't poor and lazy. He was incredibly rich in the only currency that possesses absolute value.
And he realized he had been throwing it into the gutter. The motivation to change was intrinsic. It was sparked by gratitude and awe, rather than anxiety and guilt.
And treating time like this endless conveyor belt of tasks completely strips away that awe.
It really does.
We act as if time is infinite, cramming our days with all these optimization hacks, but we completely ignore the sheer privilege of possessing the hours in the first place.
When you view your time through the lens of immense fleeting wealth, the desire to doom scroll or wander aimlessly just naturally dissolves.
Because you don't need a willpower hack when you genuinely understand the value of the asset you are burning.
Exactly. But this requires a fundamental alteration in how you interact with the instruments of time around you.
Right.
For you listening, your watch, the clock on your phone screen, the timer on your microwave, these are not just administrative trackers designed to tell you your schedule.
They are gauges measuring the flow of a river you cannot stop.
Every tick of a second hand is a continuous reminder of your unpurchasable, non-refundable, 24-hour daily allowance.
It's a visual representation of the existential currency you are currently spending.
Absolutely.
Which brings us to the end of our journey today. We've traced this boy's path from a lazy wanderer trying to price a physical watch to a hard worker who truly understands the priceless, fleeting nature of the time inside it.
It's a journey we all need to take, honestly. Look at your own clock today, not just as a tool, but as a reminder.
And that leaves us with a slightly uncomfortable but deeply necessary final thought for you to mull over. We have spent the last several minutes together unpacking this philosophy.
Time well spent, hopefully.
I think so. But if we truly internalize the old watchmaker's lesson, the undeniable fact that millions upon millions of rupees could not buy back the last few minutes you just spent listening to this deep dive, how does that dictate the very next action you take?
It forces a moment of immediate intentionality. You are standing right at the threshold of your next decision, fully aware of the cost.
So when this audio stops and you take off your headphones or you put your phone down in your pocket, do your plans for the rest of today reflect the priceless nature of this exact moment? Or are you about to go right back to wandering the village?
A great question to ask yourself.
Something to think about the next time you feel the urge to start swiping through the digital void. Until next time, make those hours count.